The year is 2007, and in a luxurious hotel suite in the Biloxi, Mississippi, a self-made multimillionaire leans back, grinning as he seals the deal. "We never get caught," he brags to his new recruits. "The cameras zoom in on me all day long. They'll never figure it out." He's pitching the perfect crime. A foolproof system that's already robbed 29 casinos for more than $7 million. But what he doesn't know as he flashes his Rolex and speaks with unshakable confidence is that his empire is about to crumble. Government agencies and multiple casinos around the country are onto him because a mistake, one he made years ago, is finally catching up. It's 2002 in San Diego, California. The Sic-One casino hums with the familiar shuffle of cards and clinking of chips. For staff like Phong Quoc Trong and his wife, Van Thu Tran, the glamour of the casino floor feels like a cruel joke. They arrived in America from Vietnam in the 70s, met at a nearby high school, and have been working as dealers and table managers ever since. As dealers and managers, they've spent years watching others walk away with big wins while they scrape by on minimum wage. It's not just frustrating, it's infuriating. Because for every lucky winner, there are countless losers. Broken, their money feeds the greedy casino's endless appetite. In America, casinos rake in over $20 billion a year. And to Phong and Van, the employer that barely pays their bills, has become the real enemy. Ruthless giants hoarding wealth at everyone else's expense. But now, Trong is done standing at the sidelines. Inspired by the words of Danny Ocean from the Heist movie Ocean's 11, he's ready to bet big on the perfect hand. The house always wins, he tells Van, unless you take it. With insider knowledge from years in the industry and a crucial connection to Van's brother, Tai Tran, a casino security chief, they believe that they've spotted the casino's Achilles heel, and they're ready to exploit it. This is payback time. In 2002, the game that most people were talking about is poker. With the World Series now a major TV event and online poker growing huge overnight, poker is where most of the money is. But not all of it. The game which Trong and Tran have chosen is unfashionable, Baccarat, and they've chosen it for a couple of crucial reasons. Firstly, they like that in Baccarat, unlike poker, you win money off of the house, not your fellow players. Because they will win money, their plan will take care of that. But they want to win it off the casino, not innocent bystanders. But second, Baccarat also interests them because of the way it's played. Now, Baccarat is a simple card game where one single hand is dealt to the players and one to the dealer. The aim is to predict which one of these hands will reach the total closest to 9. Bets can be placed on the player, the banker, or a tie. What's attracting them though is the cards are all dealt face up. Everyone can see all of them, and for this reason, players are allowed to count cards. It's normal to see players noting everything down, and some casinos even provide scorecards and pencils. Betting follows a fixed structure, and card counting doesn't have any impact on their edge, so if it makes the players feel like it helps to write things down, or indeed talk amongst themselves, that's fine. But Trong and Tran have spotted a flaw in this logic, and think that it can make them easy money. Based on this flaw, they perfect their system at home, and soon they're confident that it works. They'll never know for sure though, unless they try. So it's time for a test run, and for this, they'll need a dealer that they can trust. Easy. Tran can do it. She's good looking, the casino bosses and punters always love her, and no one will know a thing. So in July of 2002, Trong and Tran's secret system for cheating at Baccarat is tried out for real, at the casino with Tran as a dealer, and members of her family as players. It's fiddly at first, small money and a few teething problems, but within a few weeks it's all working perfectly, banking the crew $3,000. But suddenly there's a problem. Tran has caught the casino's attention. The losses aren't big, and take-ins are never the same day to day anyway, so it usually takes a few sessions for any suspicious activity to come to light, but they spot something off about her behaviour and believe that she's helping players to win. And by August 2002, the Tran organisation faces its first real test. The experiment at the Sic-One casino has been successful, but the attention it's drawn is more than they'd planned. Van is fired on suspicion of cheating, and Trong loses his job too. The scam looks dead before it's begun. Now, the casino refers the case to the FBI, but there's a twist. Since 9/11, the Bureau is laser focused on counter-terrorism, leaving smaller crimes like casino scams low on their priority list. Organised crime or corporate fraud might get attention, But one dodgy dealer, it's dismissed as an isolated incident. The case is shelved and the Tran organisation slips through the crack. For Trong and Van, this near miss isn't a deterrent, it's a wake-up call. They've seen firsthand how vulnerable the system is. Casinos might catch individual anomalies, but they aren't sharing intelligence fast enough to uncover a larger operation. The key to success, Trong realises, is loyalty. The crew that helped make $3,000 from the sick one were family, trusted allies with everything to lose and no reason to betray each other. With this foundation, they begin to expand. By leveraging their ties to the tight-knit Vietnamese community, the Tran organisation grows. Every member knows the stakes and the rules. Trust the system, keep quiet, and never work with outsiders. Trong and Van believe their unity is their strength. But while their loyalty keeps them under the radar for now, cracks are already forming. Loyalty can blind as much as it binds, and the FBI won't ignore them forever. For now, they've escaped detection, but the question lingers. How long can they stay ahead of the game? Come March 2003, the potential of the scheme is clear. But with the Sikwon casino off limits, even running their system elsewhere in San Diego would be foolish. Trong and Tran decide to head off on a little work trip, taking 15 members of the Tran family to Cache Creek Casino near Sacramento, California. There, they make their pitch to a select few of the local dealers. Some are chosen through the family and community connections. Most are interested because they need the cash. They earn next to nothing and have gambling habits of their own to feed. And all feel a little loyalty to the casino that employs them. Sometimes husband Trong does all the talking, and other times Tran needs to flirt a little. And soon they have enough new team members on board who are only too happy to earn some money at the casino's expense. The crew work in shifts, with teams rotating on mini baccarat tables day and night, stealing $158,000 in 1 month alone. This time there are no problems, and they quit while they're ahead. They've proved again that the scheme works, and that with the right people on board, they can keep moving and quickly turn those thousands into millions. They're ready to go big time. By 2004, the gang have netted $1 million. Their system remains a secret, and Trong and Tran start to scale it up. They woo more dealers, flying them into San Diego to train them up on the false shuffle and preach the importance of their 3 golden rules. 1. Keep it tight. Work only with who you know and who they trust. 2. Play smart. Start off slow and get out early. And then 3. If you get busted, say nothing. By sticking to these rules, the operation is able to move freely all around the country without ever seeming to run into trouble. It spreads from California, including the Trump 29 Casino in Coachella and the Agua Caliente Casino in Rancho Mirage. Heads east to Louisiana at the Horseshoe Casino in Bossier City and the Isle of Capri Casino in Westlake, then up to Mississippi at the Beau Rivage Casino in Biloxi and Gold Strike Casino in Tunica. North to Connecticut at the Foxwoods Resort Casino in Ladard and the Mohegan Sun Resort Casino in Uncasville. Back west to Indiana at the Majestic Star Casino in Gary and Caesars Indiana Hotel and Casino in Elizabeth. And then even up again to Canada at the Casino Rama in Orillia, Ontario. It only takes each casino a couple of weeks to realise that they've been had. But a couple of weeks is all that's needed, so they rarely realise anything is up until after the gang has already left town. No single casino has any clear idea how they've been cheated, and although some security chiefs from different casinos have started to compare notes, nobody knows how the scheme works or who is responsible. By late 2004 though, there have been enough baccarat beatdowns nationwide, and the FBI have opened a case file. It seems like it's only a matter of time before they join the dots, and the crew's luck will run out. Trong and Tran though are smart, very smart. From now, they agree they'll stay out of the way in San Diego, pulling all the strings very carefully. They only send their crews to carefully chosen, smaller, independent casinos, far away from the big chains and gambling meccas of Vegas and Atlantic City. They do so for 3 big reasons. First, security. Some say that America cares more about casino security than home security, and it's hard to argue. Playing inside of a big casino is like playing inside of a bank vault, and while the CCTV never seems to work when it comes to solving street crime and making the world a safer place, when it comes to stopping you beat the casinos, it's a very different story. There are nearly 20,000 cities in America and 300 with a population of over 100,000. Yet Vegas has the 6th most CCTV cameras, with 1 for every 63 people. Other big casino cities include Chicago, Philly and Detroit are also in the top 10, while the list of security measures used inside large casinos includes facial recognition, license plate recognition, ID scanning, radio frequency identification tracking chips, keycard tracking, weapons detection and mobile app tracking. So if you don't want to be seen, it pays to go elsewhere. Second, the FBI. At least since the mob money was flushed out, the biggest casinos and FBI work together closely. And third, the owners. Many of the smaller casinos the gang choose to target are on Native American tribal land. They run their own security and don't like interference from outside law enforcement, so if they do spot a problem, they're often far slower to report it. Trong and Tran know the casinos and what it's like to be outsiders. They work this knowledge hard and fast to amass a fortune, and soon they have almost $2.8 million in property, a house in Otay Mesa, another in Escondido and one in Vietnam, a 2001 Porsche Carrera and 2 other vehicles, a Rolex presidential watch and a white gold pendant featuring a Mercedes-Benz logo encrusted with 105 diamonds. All from a scheme that worked like this. Each time, as many players as possible around the baccarat table are in on one scam. One player, often Van's cousin, Fat Tran, or family friend, Willie Tran, is known as the recorder. Their job is to note down the order of the cards as they are dealt. When the dealer's card chute is empty, the dealer gathers all the cards back in order to shuffle them and place them back in the shoe, except he doesn't carry out a full shuffle, he carries out a false shuffle. Whilst appearing to shuffle all the cards, in fact, through sleight of hand, the dealer keeps a run on the cards completely intact. They're in the exact order in which they were first played. This batch is called a slug and typically contains 40 cards. The recorder watches the shuffle carefully and with the help of the dealer, who makes things more visible than he should, notes down the cards that the slug begins and ends with, and then, using a spy cam on his glasses, concealed microphone or sometimes just a snapshot or on an open phone line, sends the complete order of the slug to the programmer, another family member who sat outside in a van at a computer. So to recap, that's Van Tran's cousin Fat Tran, or no relation Willie Tran, secretly speaking to another Tran who's in a van. Confused? Don't be. When the slug re-enters the game, a simple program reveals when the players should be betting on the player's bet, the dealer's bet, or a tie. This information is then relayed back to the recorder who, with coded signals or via a wireless microphone and earphones, it's also handy when you all speak Vietnamese and no one else does, passes it on to the rest of the crew. Now by 2004, the scheme is working so well that Trong and Tran decide to up the stakes again. First, they decide it's time to risk Vegas. They've got their routine down, they're ready, so they make the trip and all the usual connections and then leave the gang to pull off a hit at the Monte Carlo Resort and Casino, and it all seems to go fine. Boom. It's a potential gateway to a whole new level of earnings. Then they start using their system in Blackjack 2, where the game's higher betting limits mean more money can be made. Here, the process is more complicated, because the dealer's false shuffle creates a smaller slug because, with the note taking not allowed, the recorder needs to memorise the cards before communicating them onto the programmer. When the slug is back in play, the aim is to communicate them back to the team, which one player around the table has the best hand. As was their hope, they're soon winning big. In just one sitting in Mississippi, the crew make nearly $900,000. As always though, by the time the casinos have noticed, they've disappeared. The cash is returned to Trong and Tran, who give the players, and of course the dealers, their cut, and then it's on to the next one. The scheme is growing again, and it feels like nothing can stop it. The scheme's greatest strength is the common bond between those taking part, an extended family who will never sell each other out. But unknown to the gang, this thing that they have in common has also become its greatest flaw, because slowly but surely, since the start of their investigations, the FBI have become more and more interested, and over time, what they've learned from the casinos is that where these hits are happening, most of the players around the table are Vietnamese. As one casino security boss put it, the best facial recognition that I have is my people. Everybody has a feature that stands out. Their nose, their ears, a scar, a mole, something. There has to be a link between them, and eventually they find it. They're family. It's as simple as that. The gang have been identified and named the Tran Organisation. And because this is a casino crime, which matters, it seems, more than most crimes of other kinds, the FBI aren't working alone. Soon, the list of agencies that are also involved grows very, very long. The FBI's resident agencies in Gulfport, Mississippi, Tacoma, Washington, and Toledo, Ohio. The Internal Revenue Service, Criminal Investigation Department, the San Diego Sheriff's Department, the California Department of Justice Bureau of Gambling Control, the Ontario Provincial Police, the National Indian Gaming Commission, the US Attorney's Office for the Southern District of California, the US Attorney's Office for the Western District of Washington, the Indiana State Police, the Rumsey Rancheria Tribal Gaming Agency, the Sycuan Gaming Commission, the Barona Gaming Commission, the Mississippi Gaming Commission, and the Washington State Gambling Commission. Still though, whilst they've interviewed plenty of dealers, made plenty of threats, and offered plenty of immunity, they've always been met by a wall of silence. The family shares a code, and the dealers, often not family members, are also sticking to it. They share the same desire to have their payday at the casino's expense, but if anyone, doesn't get their payday, that could spell a problem. And in 2006, that starts happening. Trong is flying high. He feels like he's the brains and balls of the operation. Without him and Tran, it wouldn't have happened, so they deserve their riches. They've struck some pretty generous deals with the dealers though. Flat fees of up to $2,000 per false shuffle, so it's easy money, and they should be grateful. But when the wins start getting bigger and the payouts stay the same, some dealers aren't happy. At first, they just grumble and ask for more. But when Trong refuses, even starts to slow down their payments and give them less, things start to unravel fast. Now, when the FBI come calling, their offers no longer fall on deaf ears. The dealers are tired, scared, and now angry. A chance for immunity and revenge, they're in. Gradually, more and more dealers spill the beans, but their testimonies mean nothing without concrete proof. The FBI need to take the Tran organisation down, but the only way they can is with a proper sting. It's June 2006. The scheme has now netted the gang over $7 million, and Trong has yet another pitch with a potential new dealer at the Imperial Palace Casino in Biloxi, Mississippi, a city where they've already made a fortune. As always, it's an easy sell. It's us against them. The dealer asks all the right questions, and then, as they always do, says yes. They're in. Trong heads home happy. Except that this time, Trong's confidence has got the better of him because those dealers weren't really dealers. They were agents from the Mississippi Gaming Commission, and they've just videoed the whole meeting, during which Trong has outlined the full extent of the scheme's success and exactly how it works. We never get caught, never. What we do, surveillance cannot see. The camera, they zoom in on me all day long. Every time I play, they never know what the f*** I do. I promise you, I have seen 7 cars, myself man. Turbo, Porsche, Mercedes, I park everywhere, in front of my garage, everybody knows me, you only need to steal once a month. So a few days later, after 4 years of fun, Trong and Tran's front door comes crashing in, and finally, the game is up. In 2007, Trong and Tran and 46 associates, including several members of the Tran family, are indicted for racketeering, theft, and money laundering. Phong Quoc Trong pleads guilty in 2007 and is sentenced to 70 months in prison and forced to forfeit assets and pay restitution. Van Thu Tran pleads innocent at first until 2011 when she finally admits her involvement. In September of 2012, Tran is sentenced to 36 months in order to pay $5.7 million in restitution. For the Tran organisation, the story ends. Casino security experts are blown away at the simplicity and audacity of the scheme. In the 20 years I've been in the business, I haven't seen anything this big, this well orchestrated, this successful, says one, while another points out the simple fact which explains everything. Everyone who works at the casino knows it's not their money, so they aren't all that invested in protecting it. Throw them some money and away you go. Jerry Marklin, the Chief of Enforcement at the Nevada Gaming Control Board, concludes that about 30% of our arrest involves employees, and that relationship remains broken. In November 2024, when casino staff in Las Vegas stage a peaceful demo to secure better work conditions, the police make 57 arrests, making them the criminals. So don't expect it to be the last time that a gang of ordinary dealers go rogue and beat the casinos.